Registration is now open for my summer speed and conditioning camp right here in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. You can check out Tejas Sports Academy on Facebook for all the details and registration link. Tejas Sports Academy is run by me. I run both speed and basketball camps throughout the year. My next camps are coming up this summer, and registration is open now.
Most of us here will game plan for football, but won't financially plan out our lives. One in four Canadians are unable to cover an unexpected expense of over $500. This is due to Canadians currently having concerns over things like debt, cash flow concerns, retirement concerns, and possibly even job security. And for some of the young Canadians out there, they always wonder on what does it take or what does it look like to get started. My name is Omari Fraser, and I've been in the financial services industry for just shy of 10 years. I'm fortunate to be in a spot to where I'm able to help educate fellow Canadians on what you can do to move forward and get yourself in a spot that's going to take you to your financial goals. Feel free to reach out to me at 403-467-2306 or reach out to me on Instagram to get the conversation started and taking a look at what a financial plan looks like for you. Take care. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Alberta Football Uncensored. I'm your host, T.J. Johannesson. With me, as always, is my co-host, Omari Fraser. We're going to hit you guys with probably quicker than normal episode today. It's 9:30 right now on a Friday night. I just got back from a golf tournament, which I want to talk about in a second because it was a wonderful day. We're going to talk about last week's games and go into this week. I was golfing in a tournament today. These are called the RBC Scrambles, and so these are a national tournament. There's qualifiers in each province, and there's 29 in Alberta, and so you go throughout all these different courses, and you go to these qualifying tournaments where there's usually about 24 teams of 4. It's a scramble format, and for if you win, you get to move on to the regional finals, which is in Canmore, and then if you win that, you get to go to the national finals, which is in Prince Edward Island. So I played a bunch of these with the same team this year. This was our 4th one, and today we actually won it. So we went down there, and I putted lights out, made like 4 or 5 14-foot birdie putts, drove the ball really well. My team played really well. Everybody kind of contributed and made great shots, and it was at Olds Golf Club. If you guys ever have a chance to go play Olds, it's one of the best courses in Alberta. I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like it because it's like in Olds, Alberta. But this course is so well manicured. It's an absolute gem, and the greens are amazing. Condition is great. And we rocked it out. Got 13 birdies on the day, and one came first out of 24 teams. So we're going to head to Canmore September 3rd for the regional final. And if we win that, we get to go to PEI in October. So really looking forward to that. I think we won some free shoes as well. If we win the next one and go to PEI, they cover basically, we pay a couple $100 and but that covers 3 rounds of golf, 4 nights accommodations, return flight, airfare. So, it's a 3,000 to 4,000 each person, and we each pay a couple $100 if we can get there. So really exciting day for me on the golf course. Coming off a little bit of a head injury last weekend. Kind of felt shitty the beginning of the week. Felt much better today. It's obviously a bit easier to play golf than it is to play football. We'll kind of get into that a little bit here as we move into the week recaps and then forward the weeks. But I am feeling really good today, as good as I felt all week. So, and then obviously being able to win that was nice. Quick update. I know everybody loved the rant last week, so I appreciate everyone that reached out and told me that you did. I love this podcast because I get to speak my mind and kind of what I feel and what I think about things. And if anyone knows me, obviously you realize I'm not afraid to do that. I think it's important. That's kind of why we started this podcast, was to be able to speak on those things. I will say, I know, the president of the league, Vince Roth, definitely listens to the podcast. That's been confirmed. And even though he says he doesn't care about my opinion, he clearly does. 3 or 4 days after I go off on the league for being completely silent and not saying anything about anything, they release a statement and attach Vince's name to it and about the national championship game. So maybe coincidence on the timing, but regardless, I'm happy to see it. I think the league needs to be much more transparent. I don't think they should wait until the decision's been done. I think when you're doing things, you should update people. We are working on it. We're working tirelessly behind the scenes to get this done instead of people being in limbo. That's kind of what I think. Like I said, when I was president of the league, I did weekly Facebook Lives, updating everyone on the league and my goal and my vision and all the things. Still yet to hear that from the board and from Vince. What's your goals for this league? What's your vision for the future? What do you want the AFL to look like? I had many people message me and say, who the heck is this guy? I didn't even know he was the president. So hopefully people now, this has been brought to their attention that they need to be more transparent. And if it takes them being mad at me for calling them out to do that, then so be it. I just want what's best for the league, and I hope that works. I'm a little bit annoyed that the league has decided to reschedule our Irish game for Canada Day long weekend. And get this, Omari, I'm not sure if you heard this, but it's a nice 10 a.m. kickoff on Saturday, July 29th. So that's going to be exciting. Never played a 10 a.m. game in my life, not even in like Adam or Pee Wee. So we've got a couple Edmonton guys on the team that are going to be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive down and play a 10 a.m. game. But I guess it is what it is. I'm not going to waste my breath, about that. We'll show up with whoever we can, and you know what? At least we'll beat the heat. It's supposed to be hot that day, so 10 a.m. should be all right. So glad that kind of fuckery is behind us, and at least we can move on, and at least the game's going to happen. Again, I don't love the way that it was handled by all the parties involved. I think it could have been done better, but it is what it is. No point in reflecting on it now. All right, Omari, let's get into last week's. I guess we'll start with your game and then we'll go to my game first. But obviously, you guys played the Jets. Jets coming off a big loss, probably really fired up to get down there. What did you feel from your team and from your guys during that game?
It was a it was a game, of course. It was a show. I know it's Texans, Rashad and Teague and everything. And so hey, let's put on a show. We definitely put on a show. Not our strongest showing, but it was an entertaining game at least. And it's just one of those things where, I was definitely expecting to be an intense game with Jets coming out firing all cylinders, especially when you give, a bit like the game from the Gators, have 2 weeks to study that, reflect on it, come out swinging, and oh boy, they definitely did. And overall, it was a good game, just in the sense where, we tried to control what we can control, and it was a game where, if I have to be honest, for us for the Wolfpack, it was a game that we were getting constantly punched in the face. If I have to be really honest with you, and then I assess everyone on the team and just how guys are handling and everything. I know we had some silent stuff that we ended up taking care of, but just one of those games where we came out, but they came out swinging hard and everything, and we're ready to prove their points and everything and back it up, and they did. Like I know myself, I missed a tackle on opening kickoff and led to a touchdown. So that was one thing where I was like, "Hey, here we go!" And it was one of those things where we all had points to improve, and I think it was a good game for us as a team, Wolfpack wise, to see because I've been telling guys all this year. This year now, there's a bigger discrepancy of those who are semi-pro teams and some that are men's teams. And I'd say the ones that are all the semi-pro teams, it's Gators, Elite, and the Jets. And then there's the men's teams, ourselves, GP, the Bucks, Airdrie. And I'd say at least there's, and I'm not, this is not like this anyone, but there's always you got to work to then claim that title to be seen as a semi-pro team. So, of course, I guess the bottom 4 teams are in that men's team area, and we're working towards that semi-pro level. It's always a hunt, but for us as Wolfpack, that was definitely a game where we got a taste of it. We've got a taste of it the last 2 games, and it's one of those things where I'm hoping it's leading to inspire players to then put in that extra focus and effort that the last teams we faced and faced. All hats off to the Jets. That was definitely a clinic, just when looking at the film and how they came out, and constant aggression, constant physicality. That's just something which
we didn't match. And I think that it stems from there, and of course it led to other things, just where they played a very strong game in defense. We were trying to make some things work on the run game. Like, I think I only ended up with like 22 yards on the run game side of things, where it was just like 43 lead was the only thing we had. So I was joking around the sideline like 43 lead is all we need. But just taking it week by week, and I think we're looking forward to the GP week, because now both of us looking for a win. Like, I think pretty much how this is going to go is whichever team wins is going to secure themselves that sixth position spot on for the playoffs, and it doesn't, you're going to be out. If it's us, then hey, we got some things to work out, which it's a situation we'll deal with then. But it's a fight for playoffs, because we're at the halfway point here, which it's so surprising to see because it's so fast. But end of the day, it was a good game. I had fun, at least. I had fun to run around and everything. Made mistakes, made plays. It's do what you can, and then on to the next. And so we'll take it on the week 4.
Yeah, and so how's practice been this week? Obviously, your biggest game of the year coming up here. Essentially, this is going to be a battle for a playoff position. The way that it's kind of unfolded for you guys, this is basically a must-win if you're looking at making the top 6. Yeah. So, have you guys had? I know it's a little discouraging. You've had a couple losses to start the year. How's the attitude of the guys, and what are the numbers like for Prac?
Considering, and here's what I'll say as well when it comes to the physicality of this game, our IR list right now, injured reserve, is at an all-time high. Like, I think
ours is too, man. I think we're going to Cold Lake with like 19 guys, I think.
Yeah, so this is something too where we're just like, man, like, out of like the physically able to perform, we had a good showing of at least that's 20 to 16. I think 20 to 16 number. Like, there's been a few texts this week of, hey guys, I have work. It's been hot out, late. Like, some guys are taking care of stuff, but they're communicating, which is awesome to see. So I'm definitely happy there. And it's just, it's definitely a drop off from a couple of weeks where we had like 30, 35, 42 guys at practice. So definitely a drop. But we also have 10 guys on IR, to where some are season ending, some are 3 to 4 weeks. It was quite a list. Like, I was drawing this up, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, that Jets game was really took a chomp out of us. But that's definitely something here now where I'm definitely going to be a proponent to where we need to hit more in practice. Which that's a whole other thing, which I think we might touch on a little bit here. But it was a good week of practice with what we had and who's available and who's physically able to perform. Which I will say is, I don't know a lot, but we'll take what we can get, and I think it's just going to have to be one of those. It's going to have to be a playoff game for us. Like, I know last time we played GP, it was lights out 404 period overtime period. Like, if that needs to happen again, so be it. And may the best team win.
Yeah. Are you guys hosting that one? I can't remember.
Yes, we are. We are home. We are at Shoaldice.
That's huge for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's going to be huge for us, back on a turf field. When we heard from the city of Calgary, everything's going to be good to go. I'm hoping that there's water, and then they allow staff. I've heard some mixed reviews somewhere for allowed spectators, which I'm hoping we are, because then that helps just with cost. But I think it's good to be back at home field, and a field we know, feel that we can get behind everything and go from there. So it's going to be looking for. One thing I'm kind of a little upset with just this season is just with how late some of these games are. Like 6 or 7, 8 p.m., which I'm like, as a player, it's fine, but I'm thinking, like, for a spectator, like, that's quite a late game to commit to, which I wish there was more of the 4, 5, 6 o'clock time games, which hopefully maybe next year we can balance out better. But I mean, it's one of those nitpicky things, which is handled more in the off season.
I think eight's pretty late. 7's probably the latest you want to go. 6 is usually a pretty solid time for people. Yeah, we ran into kind of the same issues that you're running with IR. We have a number of injuries coming out of that elite game, starting with myself. I'm going to be off this week. Unfortunately not making the trip to Cold Lake. Got rocked pretty hard in the third quarter. Free blitzer came through the middle, like right through the middle on my blind side. Didn't see him. Basically caught the ball, threw the ball, and once I threw the ball, I got drilled pretty good, and it kind of shook me a little bit. So more precautionary now. It was a little anxiety at first, just because of what happened last year to me. For those that don't know, I was taken off on a stretcher at the end of the year last year with a really scary kind of neck injury, and contemplated retiring quite a bit actually in the off season, because I'm at a different point in my life right now. Like I still love playing football, and I believe I'm still really good at it, and I can still contribute at a high level. In fact, I think I'm really better than I ever have been. To be honest with you, not specifically at quarterback, but just as a football player in general, if I was still playing receiver and DB specifically. But so that kind of like when I got hit, it's just one of those things where there was nothing I could really do about it. The defensive lineman made a really nice move. And our O-line did a pretty good job against a really good defense. I'll talk about that in a second. But just one of those things as quarterback where, you're going to take those kind of hits, and it just it shook me a little bit. And so going to take this week off and reassess. When I woke up Sunday, I was feeling pretty terrible, and wasn't really sure if this was going to be it for me. Like it's hard because I'm kind of in a new chapter in my life. I've got some exciting personal things going on, and so my priority, obviously football, is just not quite where it used to be for me. Like for my entire life, football was my number one priority. And, this year it's not. I've got other things kind of on the go. And so I kind of thought about just honestly retiring. I'm not really sure if my body wants to take it, but as I've been feeling a little bit better, I think I'm gonna try to make it back for that Canada Day game next week, and then go from there. I definitely want to get back to playing corner. I miss it. I'll be real. Like, this is the first year I've ever played quarterback in my life. I played a little bit in grade 10, which was a very long time ago. But only for about half the season, and that's the only experience I have. So it's hard for me because like when we play Edmonton, like first of all, that Edmonton elite defense is very, very legit. Their defensive line, I think they're all their entire D line is like 6'4". They've got a 300-pounder, a 280, speed off the edge. They've got two guys that are at least 280. Number 9 is just a beast. He's like 6'6". They got a D tackle that's 300. That's like 6'4". They've just like, it was kind of an unfair fight. Like you don't really see often where D linemen outweigh O linemen, but their D linemen outweighed our O linemen. The strength and the power difference was just like, our guys tried really hard and really battled out there. But it's like, there's a reason why they have weight classes in boxing, right? We were outweighed and outsized. And, for me at 5'11", I literally could not see my receivers, and their DBs basically locked them down the whole game. Their DBs were very good. Terrell and Neal had great games. Number 5 on the elite had a great game. And number 22 is a really good corner. So it's just like, they did a really good job of covering our receivers. Their D-line was so powerful, couldn't see over top of them. Linebackers were so fast. It was a lot of hope and pray for me. Quarterback's not something I'm comfortable with. A reporter talked to me after game and it's like, so are you comfortable with your new position? I was like, nope, I'm not comfortable with this position at all. Like, I kind of hate it, to be real with you. Because like for me, I'm used to being the best at my position. I'm used to being able to do my job in my sleep. When it comes to playing corner, comes to playing receiver, and I've proved that for 14 years in this league. I believe that. I've been the best corner to ever play in the league, and I hold every single record that exists for DBs, and I still believe I know I can play at that level and higher at that position. And at corner, I just worry about myself, right? I can be great by just worrying about me. Playing quarterback, in order for me to be great, I've got to depend on a lot of other people to be great. And the Edmonton Elite were just so good, and nothing against our guys. Our guys worked their asses off and tried hard. And I tried hard, but they're just better. Like, they were so much better than us. And and it's difficult for me to feel like I can't make the difference in a game that I can when I'm playing receiver or DB. That's hard on me. I'm going to keep fighting through that and doing my best, the absolute best that I can do. But it's challenging, and I need to embrace that challenge and make sure that I'm continuing to get better and figuring it out. I will say this though, the elite aren't going to win, and the reason why the elite aren't going to win is because as great as they are defensively, and they are, I mean, that defense is just so good. I felt like some of those new guys that they got, like Terrell's a great dude. Neil's a great dude. They got some great dudes on that defense who I really like. I'm not speaking about them. Hopefully they hold their team together. But some of those guys were, celebrating like they had just won the Super Bowl, and they essentially were just beating the crap out of basically a high school team plus a couple years. Like the Bucks, our team is so young. We have only guys from Central Alberta and like 2 guys from Edmonton. This Edmonton elite team has not only 1 million people in Edmonton, but half their team apparently is from the USA. One guy was from Texas, another guy was from Mexico, another guy was from, I think, Louisiana. I was joking when we were singing the national anthem. I was like, do these guys are they even standing? Like, do they know the words? Like, that's the USA elite over here. So it's like, of course you should win. The elite should beat us by 60 every single game. And you know what the difference is between, for example, the Gators and the elite is the Gators wouldn't be anything. It'd be like stomping on a beetle, right? If they kick the crap out of us because they're supposed to, they are taking care of business. I felt like some of those guys on the elite were way too joyous to beat the crap out of a team that they should beat the crap out of every single time. Like you're talking about NCAA type players, Div 1, Div 2 type players, plus, ex-CFL, CFL caliber guys from Edmonton in the States, playing a team from Sylvan Lake, Alberta. And like, that's what we are. We're like half of our team is from Sylvan Lake. That's where I'm from. So to me, that's an attitude of mediocrity. Like you're happy about, punching down. You're happy about dunking on an 8-year-old. Whereas the Gators, they're not going to be happy about, dunking on 8-year-olds, right? So I believe that they need to understand that it's not going to be that easy when they play the Gators, when they play the Irish, when they play the Jets. So I believe that that's going to hold them back from winning in the end, because I believe the Gators and Kurt do a better job of understanding what to celebrate and what not to celebrate. So, we're going to be better. I thought our defense played really well. Ethan Mackey had a really good game, had a pick 6. Mason Rempel, even though he got kicked out of the game because he talks a lot, I love it. He's a kid I had in high school, and he's just a competitor and fiery, and he's willing to get into it and willing to battle, and I love those guys. And so, I'm very happy with my group and being a part of the group, and being a part of the group that I have a really good time with. And even though we might get our asses kicked in a lot of different games, like for me, this is a lot of fun to play football with these guys. I'd rather lose with these guys than win with a bunch of dudes that came from God knows where and are probably only in it for themselves. And I think there's a lot of those guys on the elite. Like I said, again, Terrell and Neil and you guys, I wish the best for you guys. Some of those guys I think need a slight reality check on what they should and shouldn't be celebrating. And remember, you all play in the same league that we do. So something in your life you weren't good enough to play above this league. You're all playing in the Alberta Football League. Nobody's getting paid, or at least nobody should be getting paid. And that's something that people have to remember. You guys aren't above anyone because we're all in the exact same place. And the reality is for you, Edmonton Huskies, your front 7, you don't have your metrics are there to make it to the next level. So it's your talent that is stopping you, or your attitude that is stopping you from getting to the next level. I can sit here and say that I believe my talent has always been good enough to play at the next level. I've played against guys that have been in the CFL and shut them down. But I'm 5'11" and 160 pounds on a good day. So my metrics aren't there. So at least I can find that excuse, but you guys don't have that excuse. So you're in the same league that I'm in, and you have the metrics to be at the next level, but something's holding you back. So figure out what that is, and you might have a chance to bring Edmonton a championship. Omari, anything on any of that stuff? I know I kind of went on a little bit there, but
no, I mean it's everything's, as I said, it's one of those things where they're definitely in that tier of semi-pro, and I'm interested to see now how they match up now against the Jets, the Jets, and the Gators as well. Because I feel like now we're in a top three, like really the top three teams, which is going to be hashed out um, on a week by week basis. I feel like Irish are close. Um, Bucks, I say you guys are close as well. I think it's again where we have per personnel numbers, which we'll find out and see. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all shapes out because we're so halfway through. We got a lot of other matches to happen. Like I think on the back half of the season, there is like a Gators and Elites game, and then a Gators and and a Jets and elite game, which is now going to be I think game of the week kind of caliber game, which I'm sure we're all gonna have eyes on and want to have streams. So, side plug for the teams there. Make sure I'll have your streamed up, have that stream set up there because that's something we're all gonna want to tune in on. Um, and then I love the challenge when it comes now for us more. Let's call it more home built teams. So now, hey, how well can we match to these? Call it some semi-pro teams, and what can we do to now lock in, focus up, and give them a run for the money and strive to beat them? So I think that's going to be such a sweet achievement. Which obviously a lot's got to happen, but could you imagine? Come first round playoffs, you play one of the top three teams, and it's upset city. Like talk about the disparity in the league for that one. That's going to be such a sweet day to see, and then we'll also navigate that when that time comes.
Yeah, I think that 3-6 matchup is going to be, could be close. 4-5 will definitely be really close. Our game next week versus the Irish at 10 a.m. Will be a big determining factor for who gets to host that quarterfinal game. And then of course there'll be games to see who gets those coveted buys, right? So top two teams get buys into the semis and then host semis, and then 3 plays 6 and 4 plays 5 in the quarterfinals. So home is obviously a big advantage there. And it'll be interesting how it shakes down to kind of who kind of fits into those spots. And obviously travel's a big deal. Like for you guys this week, I mean, having GP come to you is huge for you guys, especially because historically you don't travel that well. You've got some injuries and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll have a decent amount of a roster. And again, that's a long trip for Grande Prairie to make down to Calgary. So I think there's a slight advantage for you guys there. I didn't, the other game we had last week was GP Irish. I haven't watched a lot of that film yet. So I can't comment too much on it. I'm not going to say I was shocked by the score, but I think that the Irish did a good job of traveling all the way there and doing what needed to be done to kind of squeak out a win. Did you see anything about that game?
Yeah, I've watched a bit of film. I won't be diving into anything I saw on the GP side because it's now a case where, funny enough, right after this call, we had like a nice little full pack Zoom film session. So I don't want to say anything to where we saw some holes and we want to attack it because it's something where this is an all out game where I need everything to go. We got a few things planned, but overall from the game, which seeing what I saw was it was a heavy rain game. So you think it looked like it was a heavy rain game. There's like a teardrop on like the camera, on the Pixel camera, and like literally when it goes to like the left side of the field, it's a teardrop and it eats up the entire half. And I was just like laughing. I was like, man, this teardrop's covering all the film.
Yeah.
So I had to watch it.
And that's terrible film to begin with. Like that, I don't like that pixel thing that they do because you don't get a good overhead view of anything. I don't love it.
This one raindrop was just chilling there. But overall, I saw all guys are flying around on the front seven of GP. They're definitely one of the strong points of that defense. They floor around, they fill holes. That's one thing I saw. They smothered the run for Airdrie. Josh and receiving core for the Irish did a good job of airing it out. Like I thought it was quite a heavy rain game, and then first couple clips in, seeing Josh air it up and everything to a bunch of receivers and everything. I thought that was cool to see and just open up some opportunities there. And Airdrie definitely Airdrie definitely found ways to win in a game which, weather-wise, not the most ideal conditions. Went up, sure they traveled well, got it done. I'm sure there is definitely they felt good getting their first win, and it's something now where um, it's I know the Peace Country Cowboys are going to be hungry to get that first win. So, despite if they come here with exactly 17, 18, or full roster of 30, like it's going to be a fight. Like that's the one thing you can always count on with Peace Country, is that it's always a dogfight. These guys are going to give it to you, no matter what. Um, as I always like to say, with the guys come from Grand Prairie, they're probably all rolling in with their 100K trucks, lifted diesel, money flying out the back. They're gonna throw money at you, hit you hard. They win. If they win, they win. They lose, they lose. But they're gonna see a bunch of $5 bills all over the field just because of the money they make up north. Which I think that's a joke I always say with anyone who works up north.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm going to be, I'll definitely be cheering for you guys to win that game. I think you guys winning helps us because then we have the tiebreak over you guys and don't have to worry about the tie with GP. So I will be cheering for you guys to win that game. I hope that I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a close game regardless. I hope that I think that it should be. Moving into excuse me. Moving into Bucks Jets, this will be a tough game for us. Like I said, I'm not going to make the trip up this week. It's the first game that I'm missing since 2014. Again, more precautionary for me, just to make sure that I have a full week or full 2 weeks before the next game, to make sure that I'm feeling well in my head and mentally ready to continue with the season. So I'm hoping the boys go up there and battle. I know we've picked up a few new people today or yesterday, I believe, that are going to help us. So my biggest thing for us is let's make sure we get through this with no more injuries. I'm disappointed that I don't get to meet up with Gabe, our unofficial third host of this show, and then Rayshawn again. But hopefully I'll be able to see them again. So a little bit disappointing for me to not go up there, but it's the best decision for me and my health right now. And I trust in the guys. Josiah is going to play quarterback, and I think it's going to be a good experience for him to kind of feel what it looks like. And a lot of guys are going to have to be playing both ways, and I think it'll be good for them to experience that against a really good team. So we're going to be in tough, but I think the boys will go up there, and I know that we'll give everything we've got, because that's one thing that we do is our group plays, and they play for each other, and they care about each other, and they're going to go up there and they're going to battle as hard as they can. So I look forward to watching that on the live stream. We've talked about your game, and then the game of the week is definitely Irish Gators. So Wounded Warriors game for the Calgary Gators, for those that don't know. Cool initiative that the Gators have been doing for a long time under Kurt. They wear these disgustingly ugly jerseys, but it's for a great cause. Camo, green, puke kind of colored. But it's a really cool idea. It's a good thing that they're doing. So good on Kurt and the Gators for doing that game. I'm looking forward to see how, I'm assuming Jordan Heather's going to be there. I'm looking forward to see how that Irish defense handles a really solid run/pass game. Obviously, because we play them next week, and I kind of want to see how they're going to kind of handle that double-faceted offense that the Gators have. And then I'm really interested to see if the Irish offense can get anything going against that really good Gators defense. So I think this is going to be a great game. I also think it could be an absolute blowout. Like we saw what the Gators did to the Jets. Would it surprise me that the Gators win by 20, 30 points? No, probably not. Would it surprise me that the game is close? No, I don't think so. Would it surprise me that Airdrie wins? Yes, quite a lot. So I think the Gators are going to win, but I think there's some interesting possibilities and some interesting storylines. What are you thinking about that game?
That's going to be definitely a matchup to see, because, as you said, that it really relates to I guess the first question, because I know with having the Gators on doing their preview, who's at quarterback? Is it Tariq? Is it Heather? They both bring different elements to the game. Is this a game that I think Heather would fly out to? Because I think this is a game here where I'm trying to calculate it. Like, all right, in the preview, you said he's got points. How many points does he get to then fly back and forth between Calgary and Toronto? Flying out to Toronto, okay, he's got probably 3 games, maybe 4. Maybe calling a couple buddy passes to get it out. So, is this a game now too where I think the Gators would say, "Hey, no, this is a game you want to make it out to," which I think in itself is this line of respect of like, all right, we need we need full team Gators, like everyone's out, because then it's going to be the full show offense where through the air, medium, long, short, run game, and everything. So I do think this is a game where I'm accounting for Heather to make it to the airport. I should probably call like the guys in the air, like security at the airport, and say, "Hey, you're secretly your AFL Jordan Heather watch because you see him come through. Let this group chat know so we know he's in the YYC area." But I do think he'll be there, and then I think he'll be there. Bryce Harper's been killing it on the run game. Like that's the guy who I know just with we just through mutual friends and his coaching and everything up, and he's up from the States and he's just tearing it up right now. Like watch the way he's running the ball and how physical he is, but how light he is on his feet. That's definitely going to be a unique guy to bring down, backed up with that O line that they have. That's well in unison, working well together. It's going to be a tough bout there, and I think the big matchup here is going to be now, what can the Irish offense do against that Gators defense? Because there's been different ways the teams have tried to attack them. I know the Irish are, more pass heavy right now, which I think is going to be a good showcase of now, like the Gators DBs and like how dominant are they. So that's going to be a thing here now too, where how effective can the pass game for the Irish be against the Gators defense or DBs, and then so we go from there. Because I think other thing too, there's a storyline here. This is quite a bit of a revenge game for a lot of Irish players that left to go to Gators and now get a chance to get a little get back, because you got Marshall, you got Ty Bissett, I forgot his name, Zach, the
Horn,
the big Zach Horn,
former Buck too, yeah.
So there's a few storylines here where I'm just like, okay, like there's gonna be some motivations for this game to really get a dub, and I'm sure each one's gonna have their own personal reasons. So I'm strictly looking forward to that. I wish this game was. I honestly hope this game streamed on the YouTube, because I think that's where everyone's gonna want to watch. I know there was a big commotion on the chat with how it was streamed through Home Team and guys had to pay for it. I secretly plugged, hey, look, YouTube's free. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it because it's free and accessible there. But I think it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be, everyone's going to stream into it for sure, hopefully through YouTube. But I'll let you take it away from there.
Yeah, hopefully they can get it through YouTube. I don't want to pay to watch the game, to be honest with you. So let's figure that out. But they might need to. I think there's like they broadcast. I don't know. I don't know all the details with it, but the YouTube would be great, because I think that's a game that a lot of people. Well, I know that's a game that a lot of people want to tune into. So that's definitely the game of the week. Favorites this week probably Jets, Gators. I would say GP probably is a little bit of a favorite in my mind over the Pack. With the Packs having a lot of injuries, I'm not really sure how GP is doing, and GP actually usually does travel a little bit good. So could be some close ones, could be some blowouts, could be a mixture of both. I think this week will say a lot for where things are going to end up, obviously, with your game. And also that Irish Gators game. That's a game that if the Irish want a top 2 seed, they're going to have to win that. The elite will definitely be cheering for an Irish win in that game to give the Gators a loss, and the elite have the tiebreak over the Irish. So lots of different things that can happen this week that can kind of shake up what the playoffs are going to look like. Moving into the bye week, that's actually not a bye week for the Bucks and the Irish, but bye week for the rest of the league. Maybe we should be able to probably get the streaming going, I would imagine, for the Canada Day 10 a.m. game. So maybe people can have something to do in the morning that day. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I think we will do the same thing next week. Maybe look to get a guest on from one of the games, maybe a player that had a really good game or something like that. We'll try to get on for next week. Omar, you got anything else before we go?
I got a quick shout out I want to give to Rashawn Provo. He's a guy who came back to the league from injury and everything, and he's a guy who is battling the mental side of an injury, and he looked good in our game. I know it probably wasn't like I say a challenge to go through our defense, but he's making his dropbacks, looking more mobile. I think there was a play there where he looked like a young Mike Vick. Just one of those things where it's awesome to see a guy go through the adversity he went through just with going over to Europe, come back, get back to know himself and everything, because that's always one thing you want to see. And the league is better with him in it, and to see him return to form, that's super exciting to see. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to him just with that, and just with he's probably put in a ton of work to get back to what he knows he can be, and then what he strives to be. So that was also awesome to see him there. Despite, I know, seeing basically him drop back and seeing him throw a nice corner to number 18. I think I called that one out on the sideline, but I was like, man, it's good to see him in form, back in form.
Yeah, and Rayshawn is a great dude, and I always enjoyed talking to him and having him on the podcast. He's been on a couple times, so I echo that absolutely. One of my favorite dudes in the league. So good on you, and keep ripping it up out there. Maybe you could throw a couple picks this week, and just to kind of help us out a little bit on the Bucks, help our confidence a little bit there. All right, man. Mari, send us out.
Hey, appreciate everyone tuning in. I know a little short episode here. Hope this fulfills your hour and your road trip journey as you're making your way to your team, making your way to your destinations. As always, you can find this on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where you get your podcasts. Planning to get some teasers up here again, so looking to spice things up. Maybe I add in that little Tej rant here, possibly. Maybe spike up the views and everything. We all need that for the robots that handle Instagram on the behind the scenes. But appreciate you tuning in. Another exciting week of football. A very important week of football, because it's going to determine a lot of that week 6, week 7. Positions and everything. So go out, play hard, play safe. Get your water up, get your hydration up. I'm about to go hit my pre-game workout here. Got to make sure the body's right, and then we'll take it to the fielder tomorrow.
Beauty. Hey, well, good luck, Omari, tomorrow. Good luck, everyone. Safe travel to all my Bucks brothers traveling up to Cold Lake. Safe travel to all the Grand Prairie guys coming down to Calgary. Stay safe. Have a good week. And we will see you all next week. All right. See you, Omar.
All right. Bye.